Hippo would like to inform you that the earth is round. Former flat earthers. What made you come round? I was tired of living life on the edge. Quote I got from somewhere. For 5 years I believed the earth was flat. Then I turned 6. Explain like I'm 5. You'll understand when you're older. I was debating a flat earther in Mexico and I asked him about how GPS worked if there were no satellites. He said that they had devices in the ground to route you. I told him the Mexican government is barely able to put decent water pipes in the ground. Would he really think they had the tech to put routing devices in the ground? He chuckled with a 1,000-mile gaze. I mean, with all the money go to routing devices in the ground, no wonder there is no money left. Had to travel to Japan, gave up on my beliefs in order to make a shorter trip. Please elaborate. It's a quicker journey depending which direction you travel from. Please elaborate. You can either fly nearly 11,000 miles over the Atlantic, Europe and Asia, or you can fly 6,000 miles over the Pacific. I said the same thing on another post. However, someone more familiar with the conspiracy said they believe the earth is actually a circle with the North Pole in the middle with the South Pole or Antarctica encircling us. For me it just brought up more questions. They think the earth is a big pizza with a crust made of icy mountains. The North Pole is the center where all the slices meet. The pizza is on a rotating plate with a small heat lamp that can only cover about half the pizza. Sorry, I'm kind of hungry. A serious answer here. The thing that made me stop was just the question, why would NASA lie to you? This a solid point. There's no way 70,000 scientists could keep it a secret. I mean, fair enough, right? Like they don't have anything to gain or lose no matter if the earth is flat. Not saying it is, or LMFAO. That is why I laugh at the 9/11 inside job people. The amount of people that would have to keep that a secret is astounding. From government agencies to people in the military, there are so many, there is no way everyone would keep their mouth shut. Most conspiracies fall flat because they would require too many people to keep quiet. Not only that, but it involves the high-ranking people involved to set aside their arrogance, pride, and work together. So let me get this straight. You're telling me that the reason why people would do this is because they're so insanely arrogant and have so little care for other human beings on this planet that they would swallow their ego and pride to do this? This is one of my favorite ways to debunk conspiracies. If the moon landings were fake, you'd know the Soviets would have been all over that shit. But no, the Soviets congratulated us. And for some reason all of the moon landing was fake seemed to be here in the US. Kyrie Irving hasn't been doing press conferences. Man's just disappeared from the court like he fell off the disc. He be wishing the earth was round now. Nah man. He wants to hide in the corners. If the earth is round he'll eventually be found. The Mobius strip earthers had more compelling arguments. No, there would be no need for arguments since we're all on the same side. I convinced a flat earther, temporarily, by asking him if it was possible for a sphere to be so large that you could not tell it was a sphere by simply being on the surface of it. It took him a while. I used an analogy of an extremely long line that was so slightly curved you could not tell so by looking at a small section of it. Eventually he said yes to the sphere, and I told him that was how big the earth is. A few days later he reverted. Most of these people aren't mentally stable. They believe in a lot of conspiracies. What I like to do is use telescopes. This telescope is strong enough to see distant stars and galaxies. Yes? Okay, look out this direction across the ocean. Can you see Europe? Stars are not as far as NASA tell us. They are much closer than Europe, on the edge of the dome. Actually, no matter what you say, they'll find a nonsense explanation until finally get to because God made it this way, which is the main reason why they believe in flat earth anyways. If someone starts as a round earther and then converts to being a flat earther and then goes back to being a round earther, would you say they've come full circle? Once they've realized their mistake, I'd say they're really on the ball. Though I imagine flat earthers would say they're the level-headed ones. Look, it's really easy. If the earth is flat, there would be an edge or edges. And there would be a ducking Disney park at the edge. And we could bungee jump off the side and paraglide into the void etc etc. Someone would be making an absolute shit ton of money off of it if it existed. Guess what? Nobody is doing that, and in this world where absolutely everything is exploited for profit, if no one is making money off of it, it does not exist. No edge. Not flat. Get a clue? Hell, people make money off plenty of things that don't exist too. Like the flat earth. Let's not forget it'd be the cleanest and success guaranteed suicide. I mean, depending what's down there. Unless it's an endless void and all you do is keep falling until you starve. You know what? Never mind. And if that was the case, it would be the best way to dispose of toxic waste and garbage. Just yeet it into the ducking void. Not me, but got a flat earther to question his beliefs and hopefully critically analyze them by giving him the proof he asked for, to which he responded mainstream science and media are lies. I asked why he asked for proof, if he could just disregard it as lies either way, then told him that, since he required no proof or evidence against to believe something, it made him the easiest person to deceive, and that it seemed pretty sheep-like to me. He deleted all of his flat earth comments and hasn't posted about it since. He probably didn't change his opinion, but he did become ashamed of it, which is a good start. I watched a documentary about flat earthers called Truth Behind the Curve, and my analysis from watching that these flat earthers are a group of people who found a community to be a part of. It's a shame their community is based on a lie, but I saw a bunch of people who were to be part of a community. Most of the people were social awkward and whatnot, and saw an opportunity to be an influential figure within the community, so they doubled down on their flawed logic. The more against you are of them, the harder they rep their flatness. TLDR, I see flat earthers as a group of lonely people looking for a community that will accept them. They actually did an experiment, and that if they got one result, the earth was flat, if they got the other, it was round. Experiment showed that the earth is, drumroll, round. They claimed it was human error that caused the wrong result. They also spent $20,000 on a very precise gyroscope. Of course it showed a 15°/hour drift, thus proving the spherical earth. They didn't accept this result and blamed it on picking up the rotation of the heavens. So they did another experiment with the gyroscope in a zero Gauss chamber so that the sky wouldn't affect it. Same result. And they still claimed something else must have been wrong. There is nothing that will convince these people. At least these deeper entrenched bigger name people are too far in and can't ever leave their group that they are so tied to. I also believe a lot of the higher up people absolutely do not believe the earth is flat and are just grifting people for the money. I tried to convince others that the earth is a circle, but they wouldn't listen. It's pointless. It took about 5 years. It was out of willful ignorance on my part. I just refused to question the logic of it. In fact, I spent most of my time coming up with crazy fantasies about a lot of things I didn't understand. But you have to understand that there is just so much we don't know about that sometimes our priority on what is real and what can be believed can get confused. I was learning so much so fast that I really didn't question something so inane as the world being flat. Of course it was, why wouldn't it be? The day that changed it forever though was when I asked my father what happens when you get to the edge of the world. He of course said the world is round like a ball. Being about 5 years old, I thought that made a lot of sense.